Hi everyone, we're going to mat and frame a little robot today. First thing you need to consider is a clean surface, and I keep this piece of cardboard around just for that purpose. Alright, so here's our little robot, and here's our mat board and frame. You're going to want to pick mat board that works with the frame and with your illustration. This one, no. Yeah, black sort of works. Let's see what else we got. No. I think we're going to go for the black. Now we're going to cut our mat down to size. This is not 8 by 10, but our frame is, so that's what we're going to cut it down to. You always make all of your marks on the back of the mat. You should have two cutters for your mat cutter. This is the 90-degree bevel for the inside, or this is the 45-degree rather, bevel for the inside mat. And this is your 90-degree cutter for the edges. I'm going to use the 90-degree. Be sure to hold your straight edge down so the mat doesn't move while you cut. And there we go. Also, the blade on your 90-degree can be a little dull, and I usually use the leftovers once I get nicks in my 45-degree cutter. However, this one, it needs to be sharp at all times. Okay, now we're going to measure out our inner mat. I think it's going to be a horizontal, so the actual paper here is it's 5 inches and 3/4 by 5 inches. So I'm going to come in a little bit. I think I'm going to be in 5 1/4 across this way, and I'm going to make my inner mat 4 1/2 tall. Okay, so as you can see here, I need an opening that's 5 1/4 by 4 1/2. To get that, I'm going to measure where 5 1/4 ends right here. So I put a little dot here, and then I see what the remainder is. The remainder is 4 3/4. Now we're going to divide that in half. That would be 2 and looks like 2 3/8. And now we're going to test that to see if that's correct. That is correct. All right, 2 3/8. Two and 3/8, and measure that to see if it's correct. And now we're going to make a line here, make a line here. Now let's go the other direction. We need our opening to be 4 1/2 inches tall. All right, so mark where 4 1/2 inches ends right here. And now what's half of that? Half of the remainder. The remainder is 3.5. So half of that is, let's see, what is half of that? I think it's 1 3/4. And that looks correct, 1 3/4. All right, we're gonna confirm that, all right. Okay, so we should have an opening here that is 4.5 inches tall and 5 1/4 inches wide, and that's what we have. All right, now we need to cut our mat. All right, so here's a little trick that I've learned over the years. Use an old piece of mat cord where you're going to cut your bevel. And this will ensure that you don't have a frayed edge, and you might. So if you don't use this and your blade isn't as sharp as it could be, then what you're going to get is a frayed edge. But you can avoid that by backing your blade with another piece of mat board. Alright, so be sure to hold down your straight edge really, really firmly. And so this right here, you have to make sure it's all the way engaged. Make sure it's all the way engaged before you start pushing it across the mat. Alright, nested in there. Alright, so I'm going to make sure it's all the way engaged. Also, I'm over this line, so you can see that there's a line right here. Here, I'll just bring it closer. Alright, so you can see that there's a line on the bevel cutter and a line on the paper. You want to be about 1/16 of an inch on the other side of the line. Alright, let me line this back up. Alright, press all the way down. Alright, can't go in any further, so now we're gonna cut our line. Alright, you shouldn't see anything. Not yet, but there is a cut there. Alright, we're gonna turn this counterclockwise. Our already cut edge is right here. Now when you get to this line, the line that you're moving toward, slow down a little bit, because you could overstep that line by quite a lot if you're not careful. Alright, turning that paper counterclockwise again. Alright, one more cut. Alright, should slide right off. Alright, there we go. Okay, make sure your hands are clean before you get the artwork out. Now we're going to use a little bit of masking tape, just a little bit. Alright, so I'm going to line it up the way we like it. Alright, press down where that masking tape is, and now we're just going to use a little tiny bit more on the back. Now I don't use much of this masking tape because it's not particularly acid free, and I burnish it down with my fingernail so that it doesn't come off. Alright, one more thing. Well, several more things. Inside your frame, this backer behind the glass that's going to be backing your artwork is not acid free, so you should get a piece of paper that is to back it with. Alright, what we've done here is popped out everything inside this frame. There's a backer and a piece of glass. And worst case scenario, you might need to use Windex on it to get all the smudges off. Right now I'm using a microfiber cloth to get rid of all of these fingerprints. Alright, that looks pretty good. Now what we could do, and what I have done for so many years, is put the glass back in the frame and then put the artwork on the glass. And what I find is that there's always some little dot in there in between the glass and the mat. And it's best, I found, to actually put the glass on top of your mat out here, and it'll be easier to see. There's a little dot in there. Alright. Let's flip it over and see if that solves the problem. Yeah, that solves the problem. Alright. Alright, we're just going to flip this guy inside this frame and put this guy in here. Take up any slack so it doesn't move around in there. And here we go. All done. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time.